Hello, thank you for watching my video. Today we will be talking about Chapter 10, DHCP. This is a part of Semester 2, Routing and Switching, by me, Astrid Krasniqi. Okay, Introduction to DHCP version 4. DHCP uses three different address allocation methods. This is how you get a client machine that will get IP address from the DHCP server. There are three methods. First is manual allocation. You have to go as an administrator and start configuring statically all the client machines with the DHCP with the IPv4 address. Then we have automatic allocation. DHCP version 4 automatically assigns a static IP address permanently to device selecting from a pool of available addresses. Or you can have a dynamic allocation. DHCP version 4 dynamically assigns or leases an IPv4 address from a pool of addresses for a limited period of time chosen by a server, or until the client no longer needs the address. This method is most commonly used. So first we have a manual allocation, where administrator has to statically configure IP address. Then we have an automatic allocation. This usually happens like in Microsoft's client machines is APIPA, where the client tries to contact the DHCP server, is not successful, and it will assign itself an IP address, or dynamically allocated with the DHCP server. This is DHCP version 4 operation. We have a DHCP server. It could be the Cisco routers. We have an IP address, a static IP address 10.1.1.1, and then we create a pool of IP addresses. That pool in our example here, we have 10.1.1.10 all the way up to 10.1.1.99. That's our pool. So when a client machine comes along, we'll broadcast a DHCP discover packet. That packet will be broadcasted, so everybody's going to get it. Only the DHCP server will listen for these packets, and it will reply with the DHCP offer. Now this packet is unicast from the server to the client machine. So it will pick the first address from the pool, in this case 10.1.1.10, and it will offer it to the client. It will offer it because the client could be receiving the same offers from other DHCP servers on our network. The first offer the client gets, usually it will send a request, a broadcast request saying, yep, I like that IP address, can I have it please? But this will still be a broadcast message. Then the last message will come up from the DHCP server, which is acknowledgement. So it will send an acknowledgement, yep, you got that IP address. This IP address will be struck off from the pool, so it will not be assigned to anybody else. So that's a four-way process. First comes from the client, it's discover message, then it's offer, then it's request, then the message comes from the server, that's acknowledgement. It's known as DORA process. Configuring DHCP server. A Cisco router running the Cisco iOS software can be configured to act as a DHCP version 4 server. To set up a DHCP, first we exclude addresses from the pool. So for example, in our pool, if it's 99 addresses, we have maybe .5, .6 we have given statically to a switch, to a router, to a DNS server, or anything like that. Then these addresses, we have to exclude them from our pool. Then we create a pool. Then in the pool, we can define a range of addresses, a subnet mask. We can define the router, default router. Optional, we can put like DNS server, domain name, and so on. To disable DHCP, use the no service DHCP command. The best practice is to identify addresses to exclude before creating the DHCP pool. So to ensure the DHCP does not assign reserved addresses accidentally, we go to the global configuration command and we say IP, then DHCP. Here IP, DHCP, then excluded addresses. They can be in range, so that's the first address on the range up to 9. So what we are excluding, 192.168.10.1, .2, .3, .4, .5, .6, .7, .8, up to .9. That's the range. Or you can exclude them one address at a time. For example, if they are not consecutive, not in the range, you can say one address at a time. Say 192.168.10.254, so specific addresses. And you can have multiple lines, multiple of these specific addresses. After you did that, you go and create a pool. IP DHCP pool, and then that's a name. You can call it anything you makes sense on your network. LAN pool 1 in this example. Create a DHCP pool. Then after we create the DHCP pool, the config command here changes. It says DHCP-config. Then inside that command, we know we are inside the pool. We select the network, or we configure the network with the command network, then our network range 192.168.10.0 and /24 or 255.255.255.0. Then we can configure the default router, configure the domain name if you want, and if you press there question mark in a packet tracer, you will see only these commands, but on the real Cisco routers, you will see a lot more options. To verify a DHCP server, commands to verify it, we have show running config, then pipe section DHCP. If you just want to see the DHCP section. If you want to see everything, you just say show running config, ignore the last bit. Then we say show IP DHCP binding and show IP DHCP server statistics. For example, if we did show IP DHCP binding, we will see address that is being binded to a MAC address. So any MAC address, we got IP address, and how long is the lease for, and how did you get that address. Relay agent, for example, this router is connected to DHCP server on this network, on 192.168.11.0 network, and 192.168.11.6 is the DHCP server's address. Now on this side is their network 10.110/24, and we have a DHCP client there. Now this client is asking for IP address from the DHCP server, but DHCP server is located on different network. Now that's not going to be possible because the client will send the DHCP discover message, but that's a broadcast message. So when that message hits the router will say, sorry, I can't forward any broadcast outside of your network subnet, so it will destroy it. Now with the same network, we need to configure relay agent. Relay agent has to be configured on the interface where the client machines are. So you will be configuring on that interface. So the command is to configure IP helper address 192.168.11.5. No, that should be 6 here. So that should be here .6. So you help an IP helper address and then the address of the DHCP server. So now when the DHCP discover message comes from the client, the router will forward it to the DHCP server. Okay, before we move to DHCP for version 6, I will do a demonstration on the packet tracer. So I'm going to start a new packet tracer. This is from the old one that we were doing on a different exercise. Okay, so I'll start a new packet tracer. So I'll bring one router here and 2 client machines and a switch. Now these clients, just going to connect them quickly to the switch. Okay. Now this network, we're going to have it on 10.1.1.0/24, and this router is going to be our DHCP server, so DHCP. Okay, I'm going to do a quick startup configuration for this router, like a good housekeeping. So enable config t enable password Cisco enable secret plus no IP domain lookup service password encryption hostname all1 line console 0 password Cisco login exec timeout 00 0 minutes 0 seconds login sync line bty 0 to 4 5 lines password Cisco login. Okay, exit here and I'll do a banner as well. MOTD authorized users only. Okay, and copy startup config. Oh no, running config to startup config. Okay, done a few things. Copy that. So right click, copy, start the router, and then I'll just paste it here. I'm just gonna increase the screen a little bit. Right click, paste. Okay, just check everything, no spelling mistake. Yeah, everything is fine. So that's your good housekeeping startup configuration. Show IP interface brief. The interface is down, so I'll configure that as well. So I'll go to my notepad again. I'll do interface FA00 IP address 10.1.1.1 with a /24. No shutdown. Okay, go back to the router, paste that. Done. Right, so now to configure the DHCP, this client machines, they should get an IP address from the DHCP server, and our router is going to be the DHCP server. So first we have to exclude some addresses. So IP DHCP excluded addresses, say 10.1.1.1 and up to we don't need a hyphen there, 10.1.1.9. I'm just going to check that command. I usually make a spelling mistake with that command, so I'm just going to confirm that it's fine. Yeah, it's wrong. So there we go. With that. Okay. So IP DHCP excluded addresses 10.1.1.1 up to 10.1.1.9. And let's just pretend that we have one more address on this range 200, and then another one 10.1.1.205. So these are not in the continuous range. Okay, after we excluded some array addresses, so we say IP DHCP pool, and then my pool, whatever name you want to choose. So once you're inside the pool, you have to say what network this is going to be DHCP for. So network 10.1.1.0 with the network mask 255.255.255.0, and we can copy this stuff and paste it. Now if I put the question mark, I have some other configuration that I can do. I can put a DNS server, default router, domain name, the options like a lease time and so on. You can put them on the physical routers as well. But these are the two commands that we need to. So default router and DNS server. Okay, so I'm going to put a default router, which is going to be this router, and DNS server, say that it's going to be that 5. Okay, done. And show run. Okay, we have some excluded addresses. That's the range. And we have the 200 and 205 is excluded as well. And then in our pool, my pool, we have, that's our network, a default router, and a DNS server. So if I go to the PC, the first PC here, go to desktop, IP configuration, go to DHCP, I should receive an IP address. There I go. I got it. And the first address you see, because we excluded .9 up to .9, the first address is .10. And I got the gateway and the DNS server. Excellent. Here I'm going to do PC1 as well. Config D. I'll go to desktop, DHCP. Done. This one's got 11. Right. Now, to get to that address, NCPA CPL network configuration. So here, for example, is our Ethernet. If I right click this Ethernet and then click properties, then on the properties, on the physical machines, you will see it. Go to the Internet Protocol, and here you will choose obtain addresses automatically and obtain DNS server address automatically. That will be your configuration on a physical machine. And alternate configuration is going to get an IP address, a PIPA IP address, if you can't connect with a DHCP server. Okay. Now the next demonstration, I'll show you how to configure a DHCP server for remote location. So I'm going to bring another router here and another PC on this side. Now this PC is going to connect with crossover cable to this router, and this network is going to be 11.1.1.0/24, and these two routers, they're going to connect with each other. Sorry. I can connect them. Okay, let's connect them with a serial cable. So first, let me just write this. I'm going to shut down the router and populate it with one VIC2T. Turn the router back on. This router, shut it down, populate it, 2T, turn it back up. Okay, this is going to be our DCE, and this is the DTE. Okay, in our configuration, I'll continue here for this router on the left, or R1 I called it. So interface 0000, IP address 172.16.121, clock rate 64,000, no shutdown. Okay, so this in network here is going to be 172.16.12.0/24. Now what we're doing is we are going to do this is going to be a DHCP client. DHCP client as well. So this one is going to ask for the DHCP for the address from the DHCP, but it's not in the same network. So it's going to have a problem, because when he sends a broadcast message, DHCP broadcast, this router, it will block it. So until we start configuring something like a relay agent, this router will block it. So we have to go to this router and configure relay agent on this interface. So this router will hear broadcast for DHCP, and then it will unicast the DHCP to our DHCP server. And then this will unicast it back, and this will unicast it back, the messages. Okay, so that configuration that I did, let me just copy it again. So right click, copy, go to the router, label, class, config T, paste it. Okay, done. Now for this router, I'll do the configuration. The startup configuration, I can just change stuff and change the host name, copy. So I went right click, copy, go to the router, no here, right click and paste. I already have the startup configuration. So now for that router, for the second router, let's call it R2, going to be our 2 configuration. Same interface, but the IP address is going to be same network, but the address is .2. Remove the clock rate because it's DCE, so I don't need that. And I'm going to do interface FA00, IP address, we said network 11. No shutdown. Okay, go to config T. Done. Now this router, because it's going to get from network 10 from network 11 a message, it needs to know how to send messages to network 11. So we need to create like a static route for router 1. So on router 1, I'll create IP route 11.1.1.0 with this mask, send it to the neighbor 172.16.12.2. Because it's going to get messages from the network 11. Okay, so now let's create another pool for network 11. So on R1, I'm going to create another pool for R11, for network 11. So let me just copy that again, because I'm going to make a mistake again. So IP DHCP excluded addresses. There we go. We want to exclude some. So 11.1.1.1, definitely. We're going to exclude the 11.1.1.254, and then I'm going to create a pool. So we have a IP DHCP pool, and then the name network 11. So that's going to be net 11. Then we say the default, the network 11.1.1.0. That's going to be the subnet mask. And then the router IP default router 11.1.1.1. Okay, and DNS server 11.1.1.5, for example. Take that IP off. Okay, so what we have here, that's a pool for network 11. So I'll copy this stuff to this router, paste it there. Excellent. So now, when this client machine sends a broadcast message, it's going to be relayed to the router, and then the router is going to send the message unicast to this client machine. I'm going to test it first before we do the IP helper address, and then see that we're not getting the IP address. So desktop IP configuration, DHCP requesting the IP address, but it's going to fail. Okay. The reason is because the broadcast is coming up to here, this router is dropping them. So on this router, you need to go to the IP, to this interface here, and do the helper address. So exit, interface FA00, IP helper address, and then the address of the DHCP server. So the address of DHCP server is going to be 10.1.1.1, or whatever we say, 172 could be, .16.12.1. Okay. Now this router needs to know a unicast how to get to the DHCP server. Alright. Now we're going to test it again. So go to the client machine. Oh, now we got a request successfully, 11.1.1.2. We got everything. Gateway, DNS server, everything. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching my video. This has been Astrid Krasniqi, helping you, showing you how to watch the DHCP server. In the next video, we'll watch on the part 2, we'll see IPv6, DHCP for IPv6. Thank you. Bye.